Are you able to see in full screen?
Yes.
Okay. So as I said, we'll talk about what is CICD. So we'll give an overview about the CICD, and then we'll talk about, because our focus today is GitHub Actions. There are multiple tools available in the market, like GitHub and Jenkins. You have Bamboo, you have GitLab, you have Bitbucket, you have Azure DevOps, you have Circle CI. So for all of this, I have actually videos, video content on my channel. If you are interested, please go through that. There is a complete playlist over there. Okay. So maybe Balkesh, you can post that link in the chat. So complete
Yes.
playlist is there. You can go ahead and have the basic idea about how you can configure your build tool with your code repository. Sometimes code repository and build tool be there, so like in today's session. So GitHub and GitHub Action is there in the same environment. But sometimes you'll be having GitHub and Jenkins. You can have GitHub and GitLab. You can have GitHub and Bitbucket. Kind of thing you can have the combinations. Whichever suits you, you can go ahead and try for your clients. Okay. Okay. So we'll implement from the scratch one CI/CD, and we'll see how we can. So whenever we run CI/CD pipeline, we generate the artifacts. Okay. So we can share the artifacts instead of generating that artifact again and again. So we can have multiple jobs in our workflow, and each job, they can generate the artifacts. They can upload the artifacts. For example, let's say you're building your project, right? Build the jar. You can use that jar in the rest of your you can upload the JMeter results, you can upload the emit results, you can upload the load testing results. All these are comes as part of your CI/CD artifacts. So in each job you can upload all these results to your artifact repository, and you'll find that artifact repository in your pipeline workflow itself. Then you can implement the caching, because when you run your job, right, it's trying to download the dependencies from your form.xml. It sees the form.xml and then try to download every time. So if you're not changing form.xml, why every time you should download those dependencies? We can make the cache out of it, okay, and keep that cache on your runner where your pipeline is running. We can keep them over there, and then start using from there. So your execution time will be reduced drastically. Then we'll see when we are going for from dev, it's okay. Dev directly you can deploy, but when you're deploying to production, somebody has to review your pipeline code, what you're doing actually. Okay, so that how to add the reviewers, how to add the approval process, that will go ahead and see. And then we'll see that you can engage your team members, better way. So you can integrate the Slack channel with your CI/CD pipeline. So in every stage you can send the messages to your CI/CD. It's more connected, more engaged. So what happening in your CI/CD pipeline, every stage you can send the Slack message to your Slack channel where your all team members are there. Okay, that is one integration we'll see. Then we'll see how we can even how we can trigger this workflow from any REST API, GitHub REST API. So generally, right now, if you see, you can whenever there is a change, whenever there is a push, whenever there is a pull request on your code repository, your CI/CD pipeline will trigger. But what if you want to trigger this on demand, or from some other workflow, or from some other API, let's say? Okay, how to do that? Okay, so that all we are going to see as part of this session. Okay, so one by one we'll see. So let's go ahead first. So what is CI/CD basically? Okay, so if you go with the full form, it's a continuous integration and continuous. D is little. There are two terms over there: delivery and deployment. So whenever there is an approval process coming to picture, right, that we call it delivery. Delivery means basically from your design till your that feature you provide to user, that complete process called continuous delivery. That means the moment you start designing and the moment you deliver to the user, okay, that is called continuous delivery. And deployment is like you started deploying in a dev environment, test environment, then it goes to the production. So continuous deployment can be multiple environments, but delivery is only one. You'll be delivering to end user. That is what the entire process. It's a comes in the continuous delivery. But deployment, it goes to the multiple environments. Okay, if you have pre-production environment, you have non-production environments, all those things will be comes into the continuous deployment. Okay, so why we need CI/CD? Basically, when you do high frequency of small software changes, right? So like you are doing bug fixes, you are doing multiple features. People are working on it. Developers are working on it. They are a daily basis, or a daily maybe multiple times they are checking their code to your code repository. If you do this manually and try to integrate those code, it's like a tedious job. For somewhere we need to have automation. so that your continuous integration will take care of building it, testing it, okay, and then passing on to the delivery and deployment stage. So that will be really helpful, okay, for any developers or DevOps teams, okay. And this goes into the loop, okay. So if let's say you check in the code and it build fails, it will come back to you. Then you need to fix it. Then it will come back to again build stage. So it will be in loop. Once this build is successful, then only it will go to the next stage. So this is like, it's a kind of practice, software development practice, where you will take care of development, testing, build, and deployment. Okay, so this is a flow actually. Okay, and while testing continues, it will be then the iteration. So that is what about your CI/CD pipeline. What benefits will get it? So the benefits of CI/CD pipeline is you'll get faster identification and resolution defects. So design, let's see, when you are testing it, right, before deploying to production, yeah. So you'll be having some quality checks. So you can integrate Sonar Cube here. You can even everything is fine, but load testing is failing, right? Then you can proactively take actions, right? Your code is fine, your tests are minutes are fine, everything is fine, but let's say you're not able to handle the load. So that load testing, so before sending to production, you can take care of that also. So this CI/CD will come into picture there. You can identify these bugs. Okay, these are genuine bugs. Okay, you won't find it in your development environment unless you do the load testing. You should do load testing on actual kind of pre-production environment, because in development environment will be like configuration won't be that much equivalent to your production environment. Production environment will be a little different. Okay, so you need to have a proper environment which is exactly identical or similar to the production environment, same kind of configurations. Like sometimes you get pre-production environment like staging environment, there you can do the load testing and all that. So you can find that whether my API will be able to handle the peak load or not. So that this can be identified before sending the production itself. Okay, so this will reduce lot of overhead. Okay, in every stage you'll find some bugs, some changes, some quality of code is not meeting your requirements. All these things will be identified in your CI/CD pipeline itself. Okay, so that will reduce the overhead of developers. Like, so immediately, because they're sending the small what we can say features are like, if you're implementing any project, you'll be implementing that project feature by feature. So feature is like a small piece of implementation of your complete project. So if you go with the small size, definitely you'll be able to fix bugs, and you'll be able to fix those faster. Okay, CI/CD will take care of your quality of, okay, so reduce the overhead, better quality that we already discussed, and then reduce assumption. So generally, if you don't test it, right, we do a lot of assumptions that okay, my API will be able to handle that much load. But how will you reduce that assumption? If you do real testing, then only you'll be able to see that okay, whether that your API will be able to handle it or not. Okay, so those assumptions will be reduced once you do this testing. Okay, now you have faster to time, definitely, right? If you send these things and fix these bugs, and if you do a lot of reusability, then definitely time to market will be faster, and your QA, your developers will be happy. They'll be able to focus on other features or other innovation part of your project. Okay, so yeah, so software health definitely will be, as I said, like load testing, quality testing, that will ensure that your software quality health will be good in your production environment. Sorry, I think this, I have added 2 times. Okay. Now, so our focus is today on the GitHub Action. So we'll talk about GitHub Action. So what it does, so you'll get a code repository. Inside the code repository itself, you can do a lot of things. You'll be implementing workflow here. So you can customize it, you can execute it, you can automate it. Okay. All these things you can do in a single workflow with multiple jobs, multiple states. So we're going to discuss about what all components will come into GitHub Actions workflow. Then you can discover, you can create, you can share these actions, between the jobs, including CI/CD pipeline. You can combine the actions, and there will be pre-built actions also. You can write your own actions also. So I mean, pre-built means there will be a marketplace there. You can take it from there. Like for example, if you want to use caching, if you want to use upload artifacts, if you want to use download artifacts, these actions are already available in the market. You can combine them in one job. And then start executing that workflow. So you'll find you can customize it. Okay, so if that what your requirement you wanted to look for, and that requirement is not there available in the marketplace, you can execute. You can write your own script and start executing. So for example, our maven commands will be writing by our own. So that is your customized part. But if we checking out the code, adding cache, adding, Slack channel, these actions will be publicly available in your marketplace. So this workflow will be running on some runner. So you can have your own hosted runner or the runner provided by GitHub Actions. So we'll get runner for Linux. Will be having runner for Windows, Mac OS. So this kind of runners will be there. These runners will be responsible for running your complete job, complete workflow. Okay. On that runner, your code will be downloaded. On that runner, your cache will be stored. On that runner, your artifacts will be stored. So that runner will be responsible for everything. Okay. So whether it's a Linux runner or Windows runner or Mac runner or your own hosted runner. Okay. So you can have your local runner also running on your system. So this is all you get it from your GitHub Action workflow. So now let's talk about the components. So first component is workflow. So whatever you see on my screen, right hand side, this is a kind of workflow where I'm just building the code. Okay. So what all we have here? So we have events. Okay. Events, or we can say triggers. So on keyword will be defining your event. So on push operation on your branch. So here what I'm saying, if any push happens on your master branch, trigger this workflow. Okay. If pull request happens on your master branch, trigger this workflow. That is what the on defines or declare. So here you can have multiple branches, master, comma, dev, comma, all those things. You can have it comma separated here. Right now we are focusing on only production deployment, so we'll take care of only master. Now in the job, you can define job name. This is my build job name. Then runs on is nothing but your runner. In the previous slide I said, right, you can have different kinds of runner. Windows based, Mac OS based, Linux based. So by default you get Linux based. So we'll use that Linux based. You can have your own hosted, customer hosted runner also. Then we'll talk about this Slack later. But then in your job there will be steps. So there will be multiple steps. So in here I'm saying the checkout. So there is check already actions available, pre-built actions. Yeah, I'll take it from the marketplace and just add it to my workflow. Then the list, this action is not available, so I've written my own. So you can see here, build with Maven. I wrote my script, Maven script over here. Okay, so this Maven command will go ahead, clean the previous build, then build fresh. So this is the last command, is the customized one. I can write my own over here. Now this is the complete workflow. Now you have events, right? So this
Ashish,
yes, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I have a question regarding the workflow. So you have mentioned that we have push and pull request, right? And right now we are focusing on the production, that is master branch we have. So if we gonna use for the lower environment like dev and then we need a different workflows for that.
Yeah.
All right.
You see, for each branch you should have separate workflow. Okay. So that is better to have clarity, because in dev environments you'll be having different stuff, will be production will have different stuff. So you can have, for each branch you can have separate workflow, basically CICD pipeline.
Right, because by using comma separated, it will not solve our problem, because it ultimately parallelly they will hit the two environments.
Yeah.
Right. And then in steps we have like the action that you have mentioned, it is a synchronous one, right? One after the other.
Right now, which one you're saying?
Steps. I'm saying steps.
Yes, steps will be always synchronous. Jobs can be parallel. I show you how to make jobs sequential. And here also, when you're being comma separated, at the end you can say that reference. You can refer the branch also. So you can say that this job should be triggered for this particular branch only.
Perfect.
So that also you can write. So instead of so see, the main advantage of having proper code maintenance. So if you create separate pipelines, it will be very, if you write everything in one pipeline, right, it's a little hectic to understand what exactly happening. Yeah, in one pipeline write everything. I'm saying that you can write comma separated branches here, and for each job there you can add the reference. Okay, whenever there's a push happen on this particular branch, then only you execute this particular job. That is also possible in your workflow. That is also possible.
Okay. So and also the jobs and steps are in sequence.
Jobs and steps. Jobs can be parallel. Steps always sequential.
So if we'll get a trigger, so what will be the first thing will happen? Like
Okay, so first thing, it will start the job. Okay,
Yeah,
it will
right.
start the first you start the runner will be ready, because this runner has to be up and running. Then
Mm.
first step will be happen, that is checking out your code from code repository to that runner. Runner is a machine. Okay, on
Right.
machine your code will be downloaded there. Your setting.xml will be created. Your code repository, exactly folder structure what you have in your code repository, that will be created. And then this say in our proper right now, last command is the maven command. So it will take, see .maven folder. This .maven folder will be created on your runner. Okay, and then
Mm-hmm.
from there setting.xml file will be used.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Ashish. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we'll be having little complex. I'm just taking simple example right now, because I don't want to confuse anyone that what is this. Okay, so only 2 steps: check out the code, build the code. That's it. Now events one component which I have already explained, that is some trigger, some event happen on your code repository that will trigger this. Okay, we'll be having dispatch event also in one of the demo. I'll show you how to trigger this workflow manually from GitHub REST APIs. I cover that also. So here on, let me get the, just a second. Where is my, and here I can add my workflow dispatcher event. So this is push event right now. This is pull request event. Okay, I can have workflow dispatch event. That will make sure that this workflow is not going to trigger automatically. You have to trigger that. Okay, sometimes you can trigger that flow from another workflow. Sometimes you can trigger that from the your REST APIs. Okay, that is also I'm going to show you. So in the event part, this part is one of the component of your workflow. Then we have jobs. So jobs you'll be having here, you can define build job, deploy job, test job. Okay, all those different kinds of jobs you can define there. And if you want to run all the jobs in parallel, by default those will be running in the parallel. Okay, if you want to say that okay, only after build my deploy should get triggered, so there will be a deploy job, let's say. So there is a deploy job, let's say here. Okay, and you want build has to be succeeded first, then only your deploy has to be triggered. Then you can use a needs. There is a command, or I can say keyword. You can use this needs colon. This will stop for the previous job. So that job, once that job is succeeded, then only this deploy will get triggered. So in the jobs you can create the sequence. Okay, so you can say by default they will be triggering in parallel all the jobs. Okay, then I told you runners, right? So in the runners you can have we can have here Ubuntu latest, Windows latest, and Mac OS latest. You can have your own customer hosted. Then runners actions. Okay, actions. Here we see that this is the action. This is a pre-defined action. You can find these actions in your marketplace. When you're writing your CICD pipeline, right? So you can see there will be a marketplace. From there you can get this. So you can explore more. Lot of things will be available according to your requirement. You can take it from there. Then you have script. So this script will be for customization. So here I am writing the script according to mine. You can have your script. You can have curl commands. You can write the complete script in a single line. You can write in multiple lines. It's up to you. Okay. Now you can create environment variables. So generally in our setting.xml or in form.xml we externalize our variables, right? Like the credentials, Nexus credentials or your platform credentials. Those you can create as environment variables. Whatever sensitive data you have, you can go ahead and create environment variables in your pipeline itself. We'll see that how to create those. Okay. Now then, if you want, let's say you're deploying this code to production. Okay, so definitely before sending it, you're not going to deploy your code just like that. So if you want to add reviewers here, and if you want to add the approval process, you can do that here. You can add reviewers, and those it will be your workflow will, or your runner will wait till reviewer approves it or reject it. Okay, so that reviewer process we can add it in your workflow itself. Here, it's very easy. So reviewers and approval process will write some protection rules, so that it will wait for that particular approval, and then your runner will trigger once the approval process. If it is yes, it will get triggered. If it is rejected, it will fail. It will say the cancel from here itself. Okay. Yeah, those are the component of your GitHub action workflow. Now, if you want to add a cache, so I explained, right, why we need a cache. So basically, in your flow, right, or in your project, there will be a form.xml. In this pom.xml, you'll be having all the dependencies, right? So in this pom.xml, so by looking at this pom.xml, your dependency will be downloaded. Okay. So once the dependency is downloaded for first job, I can store those dependencies as a cache. So what happens? How is cache stored? Your complete content of your pom.xml will be hashed, and one key will be generated from that hash value. So this will be hashed, and one hash value will be generated from here, and that hash value will become the cache key. So next time, okay, if the pom.xml got changed, then only dependency will be downloaded. Otherwise, if you're not changing pom.xml, you are not going to download the dependency. The dependency will be used from the local environment, local runner. Okay. So here what I'm doing is I'm showing this. If you see here, this is action, cache action. So this is one way of implementing adding cache. This is second way of adding cache here. So while setting your JDK, we can have one state here. You can say cache maven. So your maven will be cached here itself. Okay. Second step is this one. So you can give the action here. You can give path. So this is my directory. This is a repository, M2 repository, and the key will be this. So your runner OS -maven. So if your runner OS is Linux, right? If Linux -maven and the hash value of your pom.xml. Okay. I'll show you while running how this name looks like. The cache key looks like. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
So it's really mandatory, right? Then we have to use a cache, because every time if we got some changes in our code or application, we have to redeploy it. So in redeploy concept also we need a cache, or it will already have a cache in backend. So what is the use case actually? Like, it is for a new deployment or for the redeployment?
New deployment, definitely your code repository first time you're creating, right? That time definitely for that particular code line, right? Code base line, there won't be a cache, right? Because you're creating separate fresh code repository first time. Here itself, your whatever hash this key is getting generated, right? That key won't be there in your cache. So first time all the dependencies downloaded. Second time, let's say you're making change. Okay, that time if you're not making any change in the pom.xml, right? Then the same key again will be generated, right? Because hash function will give you same hash value, and your runner is same again. So Linux -maven, whatever hash value, that is the key. That key is already there in the cache. So all those will be used from the local itself. Okay.
Okay.
So for the deployment, go ahead.
Sorry. So the thing is, if we are not using cache, it will assume it is a new deployment every time, right?
Not kind of new deployment, because every time it will download the dependencies.
Correct.
That's the only thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we deploy one applications, A application, and then we do some changes in the A application, then redeploy it. If you are not using cache, it will download it again, right?
Yeah, it will take a lot of time, right? So downloading again same stuff.
Right. And if we do some changes, when you say do some changes, like, it will download all the artifacts again, or only the changed one?
No, it will download, because the hash will be invalidated either, because the key got changed, right? So he has to create new key now, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Ashish, there are a few questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we specify the expiration time for this cache?
Yeah, here I'm not sure, because see, a cache expiry time won't make sense here, because what I'm saying is, if you're not changing pom.xml, you can keep that cache, for a long time, right? So I think I'm not sure the exact default timing here, and I've never tried giving the expiry time here, but I'll check it if there any possibility. So default time, I think 90 days. I'm not wrong, let's say. But definitely, if the dependency, let's say if you have some dependency in there, let's say that got changed from the repository, so definitely its version will get changed. If its version is getting changed, your pom.xml will be changed. So if your pom.xml is getting changed, definitely this cache will get changed. So generally, we won't pass the expiry time here, right? You're getting what I'm trying to say. If your dependency is getting changed, that means the coordinates of that dependency will get changed, right? Now the coordinates of dependency get changed, your pom definitely will be changed. Correct?
Yeah. Okay, and the question from Harsh, where this cache is maintained?
On the local runner. So I told you, right? The runner is there. On that runner, this mapping repository will be created, and there all the cache will be stored.
Okay. And one more question, like, can we set up new build version every time our project builds along with caching?
We can do the stamp. Okay, I show you hash map stamping. So definitely it will create every time new build only. We are not going to only dependency will be cached. Our jar file will be always created, always fresh. Okay.
And one more question from Rakesh, like, every time we will change the POM version, right? So the hash key would be generated every time. If this is the case, then no meaningful caching.
Yes, if you're changing pom, how many times you change your pom.xml? I wanted to know that. How many times you're changing? I don't see any requirement. If your pom.xml is fine, I don't see any, unless you add any module to your application. I don't see any requirement of changing pom.xml. Right? Just wanted to know that. If you are already configured your immunity, you already configure your modules. If you are doing code change only, unless you add any separate modules, then you're not going to change pom.xml, right?
When we do the deployment, that we will be changing the version, right? That's, I think he was mentioning that.
Version
Application version we use it to that will get updated every time when we do the deployment.
No, you can use same version, right? What is wrong with that? Unless you are not uploading it to the exchange, we can go ahead with, right? Okay, I got your point. So you're saying that, okay. Yeah, if you are not changing your if you are, see, it is again, if you are making code changes same version, it will be helpful. If you are changing the version, definitely it's not going to help you.
But it's good version. That, okay. Yeah, that's
so
it.
this will be helpful when you are doing redeployment of your same version. Okay, so we generally do that, right? We fix the codes. So if you find any bugs over there in your test environment, right? When you deploy to test environment, you find the bug. You'll go with the same version. You're not going to change that version, right? So that time it will be very helpful.
Okay. And he asked, like, how to make sure that the cache key is generated from pom.xml, but it is should exclude the version within that. Is that possible?
No, we are taking complete pom.xml content here, right? There is no way you can take some part of the pom.xml. Right? You can see we are reading complete pom.xml.
That's it. Ashish, you can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so cache is one option. Another option, another component we'll talk about it. Then every run, right, there will be some artifact generated. Okay, so like your build jar will be generated, your results will be generated, your JMeter report, load testing results will be generated. Those results you can upload, okay, and those results can be uploaded to the artifact repository of your pipeline, okay, and from that artifact repository, the other jobs, like let's say I have two separate jobs, build job and then deploy job. My deploy job can take that build jar from there and use it. Okay, so we can make sure that whether my latest jar is getting deployed to my environment or not. So we can do stamping on my jar file name. You can go ahead and stamp it. How we can stamp it? If you see here, so I have little bit code here. So, okay, so I'm taking the commit hash. So that will I'll get it from my $GitHub underscore SHA. This will be your current run. So this will give me a hash value. That hash value I'll be adding to my jar file name. And while deploy, once it's getting deployed there, right, you can check whether that jar has that commit hash value or not. So that commit hash value, and then you can come to the CICD pipeline and say check this two hash values. So you can confirm that okay, whatever was generated with the latest run, that jar is deployed in my environment. So you can confirm or cross check with this, validate this whether the latest jar is really deployed or not. Okay, so here we can upload by using this action. We can download the same jar or artifact by using download action. So in our pipeline, I'll show you how to upload it, in which job you should upload, and which job you should download. So that as part of demo, I'll show you. Okay, so we can stamp with the commit hash value. Every commit will be having hash value. Okay, so that hash value you can use it to identify the latest jar, and then make sure that the same jar is deployed in our environment. Okay. Now next, so this is your uploading the artifacts and downloading the artifacts, which will save you a lot of time. Instead of building that jar again in the next job, that time you can save and improve your performance. That one is okay. Now, how to add the reviewers and approval process? So we have feature called environments here. We'll create environments. We'll write inside that environments we'll add reviewers, and then we'll write some protection rules. Protection rules are something like which branch we supposed to target here for this particular approval. How many reviewers? So maximum 6 reviewers you can add to your environment approval process. You can create secrets of particular environment. You can add wait time. So before triggering the workflow, you can add some wait time. So that much time to wait even once your approval is done or rejection is done by the reviewers. If you're creating public repo, so this environment and the protection rules are available over there. If you're creating private repository, then you need to buy the license. So you need to use a GitHub Enterprise version. Okay. So private means the GitHub Enterprise. You can add reviewers, you can add approval process, maximum 6 reviewers you can add. Okay. Now you can engage your team in better way. So you can see my right screen. We are getting messages in my channel. See, Coimbatore Meetup, I have created a channel. On that channel, you can see that Coimbatore Meetup is my app. Meetups is my channel. Okay. So here you can see that starting build master branch successfully, then starting deployment master successfully. Okay. So if you have any failure or something, you can see here itself. Instead of notifying via emails, this will be more frequent and more engaged. Your team can take immediate action after this by looking at these messages. So to have this Slack channel integrated with your CICD pipeline, we need a Slack web URL. How to generate that URL? I will show you that in a minute while demo. So we need to create an app, attach that app with your workspace, okay, and then you'll get incoming web URL. That URL we need to use it in our pipeline. Okay, so finally we'll see that how we can trigger this particular workflow, via either manual or via some REST APIs. So can I trigger this workflow from my Postman? Okay, so how to achieve that? Okay, so we'll see that there are REST APIs available for the GitHub. We can use those REST APIs down. You can see here. You need to generate your personal access token, and that access token will authorize your API to trigger that workflow. Then here you can see on my screen. So you need to know the owner, who is the owner of the repo, then repository name, then you need to know the workflow ID. How to get this workflow ID, I'll show you, and then dispatches. In your body, you need to use post method, and in the body, you need to pass this body reference colon. You can give the branch name or tag. Your code repository can have branch and can have tag also. So either of this value, you can say here master branch. Your focus is on master branch. If anything, any workflows are there for that particular branch in this repo, go ahead and trigger that workflow. Okay, so that is what this REST API does. So I'll show you the demo for this also. Okay, so I think that's all from here. We'll jump on to the demo now. Okay, so any questions here, Malkish?
We are good, yeah.
Okay, so let's jump on to the demo part. Then we'll continue with the with our trivia quiz. Okay, so I don't think anything other than this. Yeah. So after this, there will be a. So let me go to my my Anypoint Studio. So I have created simple flow. Okay, where I'm just printing hello world. I think this is the best flow you should have. And if you see listener, it's simple hello world, simple configuration, default configuration, sorry. And then I have checking this code, source control this code to my GitHub repository. So before that, I have added here, if you notice, in the form.xml. So if you guys are aware of little bit about the automating your deployment, so you need to make a little change over here in your form.xml. So you need to add the cloud of deployment. Then only your deployment can be automated. Otherwise, if you don't add this, you cannot automate your deployment. Okay. So you need to add this, and you don't need to bug up this. Okay, it will be available on the mulesoft documentation. You just search for mule maven plugin deployment. You'll find this code over there. except this line. So make sure that you are adding this line, guys. Okay, this is not there in the documentation. I think MuleSoft document has to be updated. If you don't add this, you are not going to do mule for deployment. Every mule for deployment needs this tag. Okay, for v2 true. Now if you notice here I'm saying okay 4.4.0. This is my mule version, mule runtime version. And here username and password. These are my platform credentials. So why I'm using env.platform, I'll tell you the secret about it. So you can give only this, okay, and only this part. Then in your pipeline command, you need to add this -d, this you use this property name. If I use env dot, I don't need to add. I'll just mention that what is secret behind this env dot, okay. So this username and passwords are credentials of your environment. You can go ahead with the connected app also. There are other provision to get the credentials. So you can go ahead and use the connected app also option over here. And then finally you need to give the application name. Okay. So this application name has to be unique, and then it has to be unique across your platform, across your organization. And then I'm using environment. So this initially it will be like something sandbox. You can have your prod, dev, test, and you can externalize this also. Okay, we are going with the multiple environments. This has to be externalized. This has to be externalized. But right now we are only focusing on one environment, so that's the reason I didn't externalize this. But this has to be externalized. This has to be externalized. Okay. Okay. Then this region has to be externalized because you're not going to deploy in only one region. So let's say you have multiple regions, then this region has to be changed. So these properties you can externalize, and then these property values you can provide during your deployment command. So when you're writing final and maven command, there you can give these values. Okay, so this is the one change you need to do. Let's go back. Once this code change is done, you can go ahead to your code repository. You can upload this code repository with the help of team option over here, and just say commit. All the changes will be uploaded to your code repository. Okay. So if you want to see how to do this, please go to the my YouTube channel. There I have clearly given detailed steps how to do this, how to integrate this your code repository here, how to upload this, how to upload the specific branch, everything, how to do push request, pull request, everything. Now once you are done with this, you'll find your code repository available over here. Let me take. So this is your final code repository here. Okay. So I told you, right? I need to add setting.xml file. So you can go to the project here. Let me go to my code repository. You can create their folder. Here you can create .maven folder and add your setting.xml. Here you can have your Nexus credentials. Here you can have your platform credentials. You can add these two things. These will be used while running your embedded test cases, while connecting to your exchange. These credentials are required. Okay. Then you can have specific profile if you want, but I am not using any specific profile right now. But your whatever setting.xml required, you can generate that setting.xml and then add that setting.xml inside your project root directory, which is your this one. This is the project root directory. Go ahead, create .maven folder, add the setting.xml. This setting.xml credentials you can add in your pipeline also. There is a way to add that, but I'm not going that complex. I'm just going here. So if you make this setting.xml more, during runtime more generic, you can go ahead and add those in your runner.m2 repository. There also one setting.xml file will be there. You can add there also. So this is what we need. That's it. Once we check in this code will be available over here. So if I go, so this is what I have made little change once after checking the codes. I've changed the application name here little bit, and I have changed the environment. Otherwise, everything is as it is. Okay. So once your code is source control here, we are going to create few things. So my pom.xml is using some variables. So this variable has to be created in the settings. You can go to settings here. You can go to secrets here and go to actions. Here you can create those variables. So I have created all the variables here. All instead of variables, you can say properties. Those properties I have created, I have passed those. So for security purpose, I cannot show what are the values here. I cannot create right away here. So that's the reason I have created way before. So once you create this, now in your one more thing. So for the Slack webhook URL, I need to create the app and get this URL first. So let me go ahead and first show you how to create that. So you can go to this URL. Okay, this URL I will in the description once I upload this recording. So once you go to this URL, you can go ahead and create the app. Okay, and here you can say that okay, from scratch you can create the app. You give name of your app. Select the workspace. Okay. Once you select the workspace, your app will be added. And let me show you. First, I have already created. I don't want to go ahead and so. Let me sign into my Slack account. Just hold on. Okay. So this is the app I have created. Open it. Open Slack. You can see that. So it's open from there. Now I'll go ahead and quickly now. Just a second. Yeah, I go back to same URL now. Now that was my workspace. Now I can attach some app to that workspace. Now you can see the workspace is coming now. This is my workspace. And you can add some app name over here. Let's say CICD. Once you give this, create app. Then here you say incoming webhooks. Okay. From this app, you are going to send the messages to your workspace channel. Okay. Now here you can enable this active. Now down here, right, you will get URL. Once you say add new webhook to your workspace, here you will get the URL. So I have to click here and you say select the channel. Which channel? So I said Meetup. This channel is available in my workspace, guys. I showed you, right? So if let me show you, you can see that this is my mulesoft workspace. Inside that I have Meetup channel. What I'm saying is this CICD pipeline app, I am authorizing that app to send messages to this, post messages to this Meetup channel. So once you say allow, now down you see you'll get a URL. This URL you need to use in your pipeline here. In this, if I say update, okay, here you need to pass that. Okay. So let me go back. Okay, so the environment variables and the Slack URL, we need this for our demo. Then now you can go to the environment section here and you can create environment. So our focus is right now on the production. So you can create environments and add the reviewers here. So as I mentioned, you can have maximum 6 reviewers. So I already add one. I have only one reviewer in this particular repository, so I added that guy. Now extra you can add 5 more. So total 6 you can add. You can add wait timer over here. Okay, so it will wait till this time before executing your workflow. Then you can say that.
Ashish, yeah, Ashish, quick question. Like when you say review, so it's a per environment you are saying, or it's
yeah,
a complete
for production environment.
Okay.
Inside environment is there, right? So you can have 6 reviewers. So most of the time, your lead or your managers will be there. Okay. So you need to add collaborators here first. From the collaborators only, these users will be coming in.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So then you can say that I am just focusing right now on master branch. So this production is looking for only master branch. Okay. So whenever there is a change on master branch, then only this reviewer protection rules will become picture. So this is called adding reviewers and adding wait time is nothing but protection rule. Okay. So I have added 2 protection rules, 1 and 2nd. So now if you go to environments here, it will show you that 2 protection rules I have added. Okay. Now, so this is what all setups we need. So settings, then environments, that means secrets and environments. Once you are done, you go to the actions here. In actions, okay, so here you can go ahead and add the workflow. Once you add the workflow, you'll get a file, something like .github/workflow. Here you'll get one file, and that is the file which is responsible for your complete CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so let me show you the code. We'll start with the scratch. Okay, I'm not going to run this because I already tested this. I'm not going to run this as it is, but let me explain first. Okay, so and we'll start with the simple code. Okay, so let me delete everything from here. So one by one we do it. Okay. So I was talking about marketplace. You can see here right side there is a marketplace. You can search for, let's say if we search for cash. Here you can see cache is there. So these are the actions already available in the marketplace. If you want to search for upload artifact, okay. So upload artifact, CICD artifact. You can see here upload artifact, download artifact. You know, all those things will be available here. So the moment I trigger it, okay, and there's the option to, you can copy from here, okay, and then you can paste it here. Like this, you can keep on using from here. Okay, so let's start with a simple one first. I'll go ahead and start with. So I have step by step here. We'll go with that. So let me get this. We'll start with simple stuff. Okay. Now, so first you can give a name to your workflow, and here you can pass some comments. So you can use a hash to pass the comments over here. This is this workflow.
Ashish, sir,
Yes, yeah.
can you please increase the font size? Someone is requesting.
Font size. Now is this clear now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So here you can pass build project and deploy. Okay. Now your workflow name. So you're giving here code. You know, whatever name you want, some meaningful name. So build and deploy. Then we need to give this trigger. Okay. So right now what you're saying is on, if there is on this master branch, if any push happens, trigger this flow. Trigger this flow. So these jobs, whatever jobs are there, those will be start running. So I gave name to this job as a build and deploy. And then this runs on is the runner where this job will be running. Okay. So now what you want to do first? First I wanted to do, you can go ahead here and say, now instead of typing it, I'll just keep on taking from here. Okay. So I just wanted to say, can you check out the code of that branch? Can you check out the code? Okay, so it will check out the code. Bad indentation. It has to be that.
It should comes in steps, might be.
Yep. Sorry, I missed that steps. It has to come inside the steps. So I think I missed that one. After this, there has to be steps. Now you can see that. Now first step, we are taking out the code. Second step, I just want to build this. So what I say, go ahead instead of, I was thinking of, so I say build with Maven, and now you can write the inside the run. You can write commands. So what is your command? Maven. Then you can say clean. You can say, so you can run these commands in the back. So there is a switch over here. You can say -b, and you can say package. Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's see. And if you want to pass your setting.xml here, so -s you can say, and where is the setting.xml? It's there in the Maven folder, and the file name is settings.xml. Now in your setting.xml, I use that env dot, right? So here I have not mentioned those variables. So I need to add those variables. So I need to go here. Let me take those variables exactly. I don't want to type it. So I can go ahead and take this variable for now. Even at the end, you can add. So have a look at it. So I'm saying env dot platform underscore user. So I already defined this env dot in my form.xml in my setting.xml. Otherwise, if I don't give env dot there, I need to write here this one. Let me capital D and then your platform username here. So I have, I can avoid this. Okay, here you can say $control. I don't want to do this. That's the reason in my setting.xml and in my form.xml, I use env dot. Now that part is clear. Why we use, I told you, right? There is some magic behind that env dot. When I showed the this one, cancel. Here, this is this one, this part. So this part is creating magic over there. I don't need to write, this part. Okay, so I can avoid this. Now I am writing mvn clean package, and this one you can go ahead and you can run this, and we'll see. So right now I don't need Slack and I don't need this Nexus or something, but still I have added all those things. Now if I go ahead and say commit this in this, it should work fine. Okay, you can go to the action over here, and you can see that it's triggered now. So this is my build job. Right now only we are building. Okay, so we are going to we build. So right now I have not implemented any cache. So every time it will be going to download all these dependencies. So after this step, we'll add the cache. Okay, and we'll go little complex. Okay. So it will take time. Okay. So now you understand that why we need the caching over there. All these things we can avoid by keeping all these dependencies locally.
So Ashish, quick question. Any ordering is mandatory, like the steps and environments, or it will randomly check? Like we have.
What do you mean by this? What do you mean by steps here? Order of definitely.
Like,
see, if we have to check out first, then only you can build, right?
Right.
So these are the steps you are saying, right?
Right. So what I'm saying is you are putting the variables in setting.xml, but after that you put your environment. So it should come before that, or it will take after that also. Like
no,
you have.
See, once it sees this setting.xml, so it sees that okay, some variables are having dependency. Where are those variables? It will go here and get those variables.
Okay. So if we put in like in the app, it will still work.
Yes. I can show you that also. Here also after runner you can keep first you can get all those variables and keep on using those variables in the downstream steps.
So in actual it's just checking for in your text, and then it will check all these variables defined or not, right? All right.
Okay, so this is the simple one. Okay, now what we are doing here, very simple. I told you, right? You can use Ubuntu or Windows or Mac OS. That is clear. Okay, we are checking out the code. Now every time the dependencies are getting download. Now how to avoid that? Okay, so I told you, right? We can add caching in two ways. So let's go ahead and first do the simple one. So let me check my code. This is the final code I have. Because if you don't write properly, right, lot of errors will be coming. So I have final version of running code. So my checkout repository is done. Okay, and then now take this code, checking cache. See, I'm not going to type it, guys. Right? Sorry about it. Okay, to avoid any spelling mistakes and indentation problem. So now instead of this command, I'll be adding caching also. I need to edit this file. Okay. Now you can see that the job is successful. Now see, the build maven command executed successfully. You can see here a lot of things are downloaded. I have to drag it a little down. See, build successful. Okay. So that means our build process, whatever you have written till now in this pipeline, it's working perfectly fine. Now let's go ahead. Now since I have increased the font, I need to drag a lot. Okay, so I edited this. Now what I'm doing, any confusion here, guys? Let's see. So I'm adding cache now. So what I'm saying is, okay, runner OS, which is Linux, then I'm adding maven. Okay, then I'm saying, give me the hash value of this pom.xml. So that will become the key of my cache. The content of this repository will be stored, and next time the restore key is this. Okay. Then now let's go ahead and I need the jump. So the second way of adding the cache is this. Okay, I can just uncomment, and this one also works. This one also works. Okay. So let me check now. So I have added two steps now, guys. Okay. So showing this also and this also. So basically I'm adding only caching now. My build step here is as it is same. I will look at it. My variables are as it is same. I have added only caching. Now save it. It will trigger your pipeline again. Okay, so if I go to summary now, see, it got triggered. So now if you see, this time also it will download everything because In the previous run, we have not stored, but this time what it will do? Yeah, so previously I ran it, right? Before executing this, I have already tested with the cache. That's the reason. See how fast it is. So restore the cache from there. You can see here. I'll show you the when tried checking the cache. Here you can see that cache is restored from this key. Have a look at it. I was telling, right? The runner OS is Linux, then the Maven, and this is the hash value of your pom.xml. Okay, and it's getting loaded from here. Okay, now that is caching. Okay, now let's go back. Now we'll be adding. Now let's. Any questions?
Ashish, are you manually triggering the pipeline? Yes.
No, 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 no. I'm not triggering pipeline manually. I'm just making changes to the file, and that file changes are getting pushed to my code repository, and that push is actually triggering the pipeline. Okay, any confusion over there, guys? I'm not triggering my pipeline manually. So this code, this file is getting added to my code repository, guys. Don't get confused. So if I go to my here, any changes to this file are getting added to my code repository, right? And this code repository, see, this is the commit hash. So every push on my code repository that will trigger the pipeline. Okay. Any questions over there? Any confusion? I'm not triggering the pipeline manually, guys. Okay. Okay. Now next step, we are going to add now upload artifact and let me take the. I'll combine upload artifact and the Slack. Okay. So I'll just take this part. Do you have anything else here? No. Okay. So I'm editing it. Control it. Control it. Now have a look at it. Now I'm moving those variables here in the top. Okay. Somebody was saying, right? If I change the location of the environment variables, I'm moving it here. This part is still same, right? So I'll change the name here. Build and deploy. Now right now I'm creating only one job. After this step, I'll be creating separate build and separate deploy job. Okay, this is deploy. Now this is your runner. These are the environment variables loaded. Now step number 1, what I'm saying here is I am trying to tell my team member that I am building and I'm starting my build and deploy process here. Then I'm checking out my code. Then I'm saying I'm building a cache over here. Okay. So if cache is already there, if I'm not changing anything, the pom.xml will get restored from here. Now then I'm saying, okay, I'm setting up my Java. Then I'm building my jar here. Now that jar, what we're doing is I'm stamping that jar with my commit hash value. You can see here, this will give me a commit hash value, and that artifact name too I'm setting it. So if you go here, it will give you your in the target folder, your jar will be created. Hope everybody is aware of where your jar will be created. Whenever you build your Mule project, it will be there in the target folder. So that jar I'm getting it, okay. And then inside that jar, I'm changing the value, and I'm adding commit hash dot jar. Okay. Now that I'm just moving this artifact 1 to the artifact 2. Now you can so once your artifact file is ready, then we are using action upload artifact. So this is the upload artifact action, and where you want to upload in artifact section, what will be the path? Target star.jar. So this file will be uploaded to your artifact section. Now I'm using deploy now. So deploy will be using, so here I'm not using that artifact. So let's not do this right now. I'll show you how to.
Ashish, I have one question.
Yeah.
We added this JDK step for creation of jar, is it?
No. That is for just for the creating a JDK environment over here.
So we didn't edit prior when you had not added cache block here. You
Yeah. So yes. See, this is not required when you are using this cache. If you are using this cache, we need it. Okay. So that's the reason I did. If you see here, I have committed it. If you don't want, you can remove it from. Okay.
What would be the difference between both the caches?
There are two ways of implementing the cache. Okay?
Okay.
One way is action. Another way is you can implement that in the JDK environment. Okay. There are two.
Okay.
I didn't find any difference between those two guys, but there are two ways of implementing it. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah. So now we'll be uploading this, and we'll see whether the chart is getting uploaded or not, and then we are notifying in the Slack channel. So let's commit this. Commit these changes. So let me recap what we have done here. We have cache is already added. Right now we have added the Slack notification, and we have added upload artifact. These two parts. Okay. So now you see my channel. You see here the pop-up starting build master branch successfully. No, at the end. Sorry. Here you can see starting build and deploy. Now build master branch successfully. Now if it is done, let me check the actions. You can see it's run successfully, and if I go to my run over here, at the end you'll see artifact. See here. Now if you download this artifact, you'll find zip file, and inside that zip file, let me show you. And this artifact you can reuse in the another job called deploy. Right now we are combining both the job in one. Let me show you this. Just hold on. Any questions, guys, here?
No, Ashish, we are good.
Yeah.
So Ashish, quick question. Could you please explain one more time the artifacts 1 and 2? What exactly these are?
Artifact 1 and 2. Okay.
In the coding part, yeah, the script part.
Yeah, I'll show you that.
That's just the rename, I guess. Right?
Yes, just renaming.
Right.
Okay, so here I'm building the name. Okay, and then here if you see, here I'm getting the jar.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a renaming it. Okay, so
Okay.
artifact 1, I have this name. If you see, right, this is coming from here. Then I'm getting the commit hash from here, and then I'm adding that commit hash to end of my artifact 1 name, and then artifact 1 name I'm moving it to the artifact 2. So this one.
Okay.
Okay, just renaming it. Okay, because I wanted to add that commit hash to end of my jar. So if we download it, yeah. So if you see here, it's artifact. See here, it's downloaded, and let me delete this first. So if you unzip it, extract here, you can see the file name. Generally, we'll get till here mule-application.jar. Now at the end, I have added this CB9834B. This is your commit hash. If you go to your code repository, right? If you go to code repository here, see here CB9A34B. So now you can confirm that, okay, because of this change, this jar got generated, and this jar is actually getting deployed in your environment. We'll see that, okay, in a moment.
Okay, makes sense.
This is the identification for this is the latest jar, and this latest jar is getting deployed in your environment that we can cross check.
Okay.
No. So that is what your move artifact 1 and 2, this guy. Okay. Now what we are doing here, we are just building it, right? Now what we'll do, now edit this file, and now, so I copy this job completely, or I take it from here, and I'm moving here and there. Sorry about that, guys. I'm changing from one screen to other screen, but that is required, unless I won't be able to show you all these things. So now if I go to my home, now see here what I have done. I have created now separate job. So this job name, I give job name as deploy. Okay, and the previous job I just do only build. Now see here, I'm just doing the build over here. Now I change the name of this. This is just a build. Okay, this is just a build. All the environments are loaded. The Slack notification went there. Code has been checked out. Build has been done. artifact has been uploaded, and then final notification has given to the Slack channel. Now the deploy, what I'm doing, I need a runner. Same variables I need. Now Slack channel, here I say starting deployment. Starting deployment. Then always, even if it is fail or something, we are sending this message. The Slack channel. So you can see here, I am sending it to the meetups, and this message is the message which is we are seeing on your channel. And this always, instead of always, you can have your successful, cancel, failure, all those things. But if you are using always, in any case, this message will be delivered to your channel. Okay. Now checking out, then we are checking the cache. We are setting up, so we don't need this Java anyway. Okay, because we are using this way of implementing cache. Now I don't need build over here. Okay, so what I need here is I don't need this upload also. So here I'll just show you. This will be download artifact, and here it will be download. Okay, you just search here in the marketplace what is exactly the artifact download artifact, right? So click on it. If I see the code, download artifact v2. Sorry, this is the version supposed to use. Okay. GitHub master will be using the control V. This one. And then we are getting the jar from artifact. This is a path. And now, do you need this? No, we don't need this because this stamping and everything is done already. Okay.
Ashish, that's a question.
Yeah.
So for every job, you need to copy the environment variables can't be set before the job so that it can be accessed over the all job.
No. For every job you need, right? This job is separately running in the separate environment. See here. Okay. So each job we are running in separate. So now check out. Then I'm checking cache is there or not. Downloading artifact, and then here deploy with Maven. You can see here. First, I need to check my code. I think I have overlapped my code. Upload is there, but download I don't have. Right? Okay. So what I do, I just go ahead. Just a second, guys. Okay. So I can go to checking here. Can I go to history of my? Anyone knows how to go back to the older file here? You can go to the history of this community.
You can click on the branches and then you will see the option of history. Yeah, click all the branches. Yeah.
All branches. Here I will show you. No.
Actually, there's an icon of history. If you go back,
Go back. Okay. Please help me. Okay.
on the right side,
History.
last
Yeah,
screen.
Yeah. History. I just wanted to check update Maven environment. How to get the code? Is the file? Maybe nothing is there.
No, this is the
I just wanted to get the code because syntax I didn't remember.
click on go back and click on unified and then copy it.
Unified.
Yeah, click on unified. It's on split now.
Unified.
Yep. Then there's a copy icon above the code and the copy icon. Yep, this. Yeah, okay. You can click on display, then it will come up something.
Just wanted to check. Okay.
I think this will copy file name.
No, don't worry about it. I'm just checking. I'm not missing anything. Okay. So if I go here, so deploy. Right now, it's building again. I just wanted to get this download artifact. Okay. So now once you download it and go back here. Here. Now, where is the content?
There is a unified tab, right? If you
Unified.
click
I'm clicking on this one only.
okay, yeah. And then copy, there is option. Yeah, that one.
This one?
Yes.
You can click on the you can click on the code. The
View file. Okay, fine. Is there anything? Yes, good. I got it. Thank God we have this option. Otherwise, everything I could type it. Now, have a look at it. So now, this part you see here needs build. That means once this build is successful, then only this deploy will get triggered. Okay, so the needs command will make sure that deploy is getting executed after this build. So now if you say build is my this job. Okay, so this is my build job. First this guy will run. Then once that is executed successfully, then only this deploy will trigger. Now once the deploy is triggered, this is your runner. All the variables is loaded. Then we have steps to notify starting deployment. Then check out our repository, check the cache. If cache is there, restore it. Then download the artifact. The artifact will download it. Then run this. So this is here I'm writing in multiple lines. So first take the artifact, which is be coming from here. I was looking for this command. Okay. Then everybody knows that how to deploy it. So minus mule deploy, and then if I pass this mule.artifact, it is not going to build your project again. It will take this artifact jar from here, and then rest of the thing is same. Okay. So I'm saying that don't run any test. Your tester already ran in your while building the project. Okay. So now, once this is done, let's save this and quickly see what happens. So now I'll commit these changes. Now you can see here, go to actions. Your pipeline will triggered here. Now see, I got the first message starting build and deploy. Then build masters run successfully. Now after some time it will say that starting deployment. And what is happening here? Now see, build is done. Now deploy is getting triggered. Okay, it's getting executed. So now see, it says that starting deployment. Now if I show my anypoint platform, if I go to my runtime manager, now see it's getting updated. Okay, but what is happening here? Let me show you this one first. Build. So now see upload artifact is done over here. So your artifact is uploaded here. You can see the size of your artifact also. Its size is around this much byte, and then it's zipped and then it's uploaded. Build successful. Now deploy job is getting executed. Now if you see here, okay, cache, this cache is restored. That means I don't need to download the dependencies again. Then here you see this artifact is downloaded from here. Then now finally it's getting deployed. And we'll confirm that what jar has been generated by the build job and what jar is deployed by the deploy job. Okay. So here if you see now, definitely have jar file of mine be here available already. So if you see here 970.735 A735 last, right? That is the commit hash. Now if I go to my code here, see here A735. This is the last commit we did, right? 970 A735. So this way you can confirm that your right jar is getting deployed on your environment. Okay. So it will take some time, guys. Let me explain one more thing quickly. So how much time I have? I have 10 minutes, right? Okay. So last thing I'll try now. So any questions here? I'll take a pause now. A lot of things I've tried. Any questions here?
Just I have one question. Supposedly, if you have a scenario where pipeline fails, can we put up a mechanism where it can retry on its own, rebuild the pipeline, retrigger the pipeline on its own?
Retrigger the pipeline on its own. So uh, I exactly not sure how we can do it, but workflow dispatch event is there that can trigger other flow. In that flow, if you
Okay.
have something, yeah, workflow dispatch. I'm going to show you that now.
Okay.
So that is like if you want to conditionally trigger any flow, you can do that. Okay.
Mhm.
But here, if we have any error handling job, let's say we have build job and deploy job, right? So here, if you
Right.
wanted to check if you're on success, on failure, you can create that on success, on failure, what you wanted to do. Okay, so
Okay.
let me show you. I think I have the code for that. Just hold on, guys. Huh? First thing I have tried it. Uh, on success. Yeah. So here you can see on success, we can see the GitHub event workflow conclusion. If it is success, what you wanted to do. Here just I am echoing the message, but if you want to trigger something from here, you can do that. Means basically you want to trigger the same flow again. Okay,
Understood.
that you can do here. Okay, so you can write, your curl script here or curl script, and you can invoke that workflow. On failure, on success, you can do that. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me go back and quickly show you the beauty of that workflow dispatch. I think this flow is done. I guess it's still taking time because updating will take a lot of time. If it is a fresh deployment, it will deploy it very fast. Okay, let it deploy. We'll go ahead and see something. Okay. So now first we'll see the approval process, guys. Okay. So I have created environment. Okay, I showed you, right? If I go to the settings, I go to first I go to here. Since I have increased the size, it's there here. So I have created environment. Okay. Now I want to add the approval and reviewers for my CI/CD pipeline. So this part is clear to everyone, right? Any questions over here? Creating environment and adding required reviewers here. So if your repository is private, right, these options won't be available. Okay. So please make a note of it. If your repository is private, you need to use GitHub Enterprise. Okay. Right now my repository is public. That's the reason I'm able to see environment, protection rules, reviewers here, all those things. Okay. So my deployment is successful. I got the message. Now you can see that deployment is successful. Now this once you are clear with this, I can go ahead and add. You can go to my code now. Okay, so go here, go to my CI/CD pipeline, go to my pipeline code and say edit here. And here after this, okay, you can simply add control space. You can see here a lot of options. You can take the environment. And what's the name of your environment? Production, right? Production. So by adding this, what you are saying is this job will be triggered for this environment. And one job, one environment type. Okay. So this environment will check if there are any protection rules. If there are any protection rules, those protection rules has to be executed first. Then only this runner will start running. Till that point, this runner will wait for the response from that protection rules. So now let's save this and see what happens. Okay. So yeah, guys, can I remove the deploy part now because it will take some time again. So hope you guys are clear. Let me copy this code and keep it in my notepad so that if anything goes wrong, I can use that code. Okay, so let's do only build part with that to avoid quickly. Okay, so only we do build part. So now save this and say commit changes. Now changes have been committed. Now if you go here, it's waiting. See, now what it's waiting for what? Have a look at it. Now it's waiting for requested your review. So this user, okay, right? In my case, right now, I am the owner, I am the reviewer, okay. But in your case, you will be adding collaborators, right? So your managers will be there, your leads will be there. You'll be assigning those as the reviewers, okay. So let's click on this review document. Select your production environment. Now you say approve based on your decision, right? Approve and deploy. So now it will trigger your pipeline. Let's see, it's triggering build now. Okay. See here. Now you can add the wait time also here. So yeah, so it's here. It's starting now. See, starting build and deploy. Okay, so that's about the adding approval process. Okay, so let it run. It won't take much time. And done. You're done with this. Now, this flow, if you want to, you know, if you wanted to execute or invoke this workflow, manually or from some REST API, that also you can do that. Okay. So for that, you need to have your personal access token. You go ahead and generate your personal access token, because without that, you won't be able to access this workflow. You can go here, go to developer settings, and go to personal access token. Here you can create one access token. Okay. Now go to your pipeline. And what I have done, go to your code, go to your pipeline code here, and here instead of on push, okay, let me delete it. Now I'll comment this approval process also for now. And I'll remove this. I wanted to enable this workflow for workflow dispatch. There are other options, guys. You can explore workflow run, workflow call. I was telling you, right? You can call the workflow, right? So if failure is there, you can call the workflow. So this is the option. Right now I'm giving workflow dispatch. Okay, that's it. Now save it. So now your workflow is not going to run automatically. It will be waiting for either running manually, or you can trigger it from your REST APIs. So let's commit these changes now. If you go, changes have been committed. If you go to the action now see nothing has been triggered. See, I made the change, but nothing has been triggered. Now you can see here, this workflow has been workflows. Now you can trigger this manually. This workflow you can pass some input also. Okay, I have not configured any inputs, but you can pass the input also. If your workflow is expecting some input, you can go ahead and pass the input before running it. Okay, so now I don't want to trigger it here, okay, manually. I want to trigger it from my Postman. So let's go ahead and see. So before that, I wanted to know the ID of that. So I need some values. Okay, guys, I need some. If I go here, so you need. So if you have to trigger manually, you need the access token already generated. First requirement is done. Then owner, repository name, workflow ID by default, it won't be visible anywhere. Anybody aware of that? How to get the workflow ID anywhere here? I didn't find it, so I took other way of getting it. So I have REST API here itself. So I created REST API to get the workflow ID. So now you can trigger this workflow, guys. This guy doesn't need any credentials. So directly owner, then your repo name, okay, and then trigger it. So once you trigger it, you'll be able to see your ID. Now this ID you can use it in next API where here, okay. And now you have owner, your repo name, and then actions, workflow, and your ID. Now here you need to pass the credentials. So that personal access token you have created, right? That you can pass in the authorization header here. And in the body, you can mention that on which branch. So we are focusing on master branch. So this is your body, this is the header, and just trigger it. Now let's see. To trigger it here, trigger. So you'll get 204 no content. That means it's triggered successfully. Okay. Let's go to our pipeline here. See, it got triggered. And now this time, your message will be little different because it triggered from there. You can see that workflow dispatch. This one starting. Okay. Now it got triggered from my REST API. Yeah, so that's all from my side, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. This is all. This is what I have planned, and hopefully within time I was able to deliver. Yeah. So if you have any questions, let me know, guys, and then we move on to the previous part.
Actually, there is one question like this automation is for CloudUp. Since the POM file we mentioned CloudUp, what about on-prem automation? Can we do it?
Yeah, you need to change your pom.xml. Okay. And I told you, right? You can have local runners also. You can have local runners. You can have this, GitHub provided runners. Okay. Yeah. Just you need to change the pom.xml, whether it's RTF or on premises or it is successful also. It is successful. Yeah. Yeah. If